women being allowed to participate at Bering has made it feel like a much more open and inviting place, and has made it, continue to be relevant as, people are constantly asking, how do we get young people to keep coming to church? And the answer definitely isn't, don't let half of them do anything because they're not good enough.
On a personal level, and I know this from certain people, certainly for younger women, their cultures were not schizophrenic in that sense of, I'm going to school and I can become a lawyer, but I can't do anything in my church. And so I'm going to walk away from church because if this is who God is, I don't want any part of that. And so I know a young woman today who started coming to Bering Drive and in college. And because we accepted women, she continued in her faith, and she is now on a full ride scholarship at Princeton Seminary to become a minister. That's pretty impactful.
If a woman has a problem and it's a woman problem, a woman's spiritual problem, most women feel more comfortable going to a woman to share it or get guidance or whatever. And so I think that's one impact it's had.
Hearing my daughter leading worship when she did for 9 years or whatever, and seeing her heart, and women have such a strong presence and such a wonderful gift to give to the whole body. And it is hard for me to even conceive of going back.
I can't imagine if I had been stuck in a traditional Church of Christ, living this, I feel like God-led life.
I've seen people, younger people, quote things that they've heard at Bering Drive that they would never have heard otherwise, for the most part. And I think it's helped them keep their faith in an increasingly post-church world.
Growing up in this environment made me think really critically about gender and the role of gender in the church and the role of gender in the Bible. And
I'm in Dallas, Texas, sitting at a table with ministers from all over everywhere. And this man, he's now close to 40, and he comes and he sits down beside me and he says, do you remember me? And I went, no, I'm sorry, I don't. And he said, well, you interviewed me for the job at Bering Drive. And he said, and he just smiles and he goes, and you made me really angry. And I went, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't get in line. I'm sorry. And he said, no. He said, I wanted to tell you thank you because you were so right. And almost immediately in my ministry, this became a real issue. And I realized, I heard your words. And
particularly having women on the pastoral team sort of opened the door to a lot of things. They got a different viewpoint in the leadership, and it really helped to see the whole picture of what was happening. And because women have a little different view on things sometimes, and in the pastoral team, they were willing to listen to each other, and we made progress.
I love hearing and seeing the women who are sharing their gifts, and it would be really hard for me to leave the freedom and the freshness of total acceptance.
A young woman at work with me, and I invited her to start coming with us to that Alpha study. By the end of the course, she asked, would you please baptize me? And that is one of the most sacred moments of my life. And, you know, a lot of men have gotten to do that and without even a second thought. A lot of fathers, Dale baptized our children. And when I told Edward Fudge that she wanted me to, and he and the elders said, of course you should.
I was a religious studies minor, and my final paper for that minor was talking about how God in the Bible is genderless, and people just shove, you know, our binary gender identities onto God in order to understand him better. I think that growing up in that environment gave me the opportunity to develop and think deeply about that stuff, which has become really important to me as a young adult.
I'm just very thankful that God brought us to Bering and for how it went. And I feel like that with a lot of the struggles that women deal with in society and in this world, that Bering is one of the places that is how God wants us to be, and one of the places that that gets hope.